I'll tell you what, when you save your cards also, one of the things that you were mentioning about autofilling, can you talk about that?
Yeah, so generally what happens is that if you are, let's say, doing a transaction on a browser, especially a desktop browser, then the browser has a tendency to save. And sometimes it sends you a pop-up to save this information and you save that. Then it is saved in, and sometimes the browser security is not proper in the sense that it may be saved in plain text. It may not be saved in an encrypted manner. Now, with a little technical means, somebody can get access to this. Also, next time you go somewhere, it starts to autofill. So it looks like very easy thing. Sometimes you have to fill your address and phone number, and then you don't want to type out, you know,
Right.
all those places where you live like 300 kilometers away and it takes like 2 days to reach. But then to make it easy, it's ergonomic.
Yeah.
However, sometimes when you put financial information, it is stored on your browser. And if it is autofilling, you're making the job of the scamster very, very easy. Because he can just prompt you out to autofill
Yeah.
and take this information, do the transaction on your behalf, hijacking your identity. So best is not to store your credentials on the browser, especially if you're doing any transactions on a machine which is not yours, an office machine or a machine which somebody else has access to.
Right.
Or let's say you're in an airport and you have this sudden great urgency to purchase something online, like most people,
And you're on airport's Wi-Fi.
Right, on the airport Wi-Fi, yes.
Imagine. Yeah, just out curiosity, right? Diwali is here, everyone's happy. I'm sure so are you. But
And the scamsters.
and the scamsters. Tell me, do you have credit card?
This is PII. I refuse to share it.
So have
Whether
you,
I have a credit card, I don't have credit.
I'll tell you why I'm asking this. One is, have you set the limit on your credit card? On the tap limit, on the debit limit or
ऐसा
anything?
नहीं है किधर से लिमिट करेगा.
बट क्रेडिट कार्ड के लिए पैसा अभी तोड़ना चाहिए होता है, तो नेक्स्ट मंथ चाहिए होता है ना, तो
Right.
डू यू हैव इट?
Yeah, so limit है.
टैप का लिमिट क्या होगा?
I don't use tap.
Damn it. Just when I was going to take that away. Well. Okay. But you know what? It's very important. One, a lot of now these technologies, people are wearing ring and you can tap and pay. And so many other places
When
where
you go to foreign countries, your
Apple Pay, right?
Pay is
Apple Pay.
enabled.
And if you're using if you're using tap and pay, that's fine. But set the limitation
Set
where
limits
it will
on
not hurt your pocket,
Yes.
right? Even if it's stolen or if you've kept your wallet somewhere or anything, because tap does not really require authentication.
Yeah.
So it's very important for you
And
to
I'll tell you a
set that
small
bar.
thing also. In many countries, people are carrying these readers. So if you are carrying your card in your pocket, they can just touch
Yeah.
the reader there and read it remotely. There's a protection for that. You get a card like a credit card, which is a blocker. So if you put that, then nobody would be able to,
Do you get
tap
it in India?
Yeah, you get it. You
Really?
get it in India.
Okay.
So it's called a blocker.
Is that what you have so that I can't steal?
I do actually have a blocker with me.
I thought you did not have credit card. Well,
I just have a blocker, no credit cards.
See?
Fool the scammer.
See? Okay. So you mentioned something about application side loading, right? Talk about that, because see, everyone says iOS is the safest, and then Play Store has its own mechanism of Google Play Protect, I think.
Yes.
Right? So what's the side loading? What happens? And I think this goes back to our earlier conversation that not all the websites and domains and applications are legit.
Yes.
So it's very important to notice where you're downloading, how you're downloading, etc. So can you
Yes.
just talk about that?
So generally, when a scammer is trying to scam you, either they will ask you to, log in into something, put a PIN, share an OTP, or then sometimes they will ask you to install an app, which is generally an AnyDesk or remote access application. Then they can do transactions on your behalf from your phone. They can make phone calls. They have full access to your phone. They can get your credentials, your photos, which you have, stored separately,
Right.
and other things. Now, thing is that by default in Android, there is something called Pray Protect, which is on, which does not allow
On all the
you-
Android devices.
on
it's-
that. And iOS is a walled garden. It does not allow you basically until unless you are very experimental. You jailbreak the phone to install apps from outside. But apps from outside the Play Store or the App Store, they require an effort to be installed. So you have to go and actually disable, installing apps from unknown sources is disabled. You have to go and enable if you want to do something called side loading. Side loading is basically an APK file, right? An app file which has been sent to you separately by a WhatsApp, by a link, or you have got it on a website, or on Telegram, SMS, howsoever, or through a link. So your phone generally does not allow you, because your phone knows that this can be unsafe, and this is an unsafe practice which the phone is not allowing. But sometimes the scammers will ask you to go and disable that. So that is a huge red flag. Somebody is asking you to go and disable that setting and allow untrusted and unknown apps to be installed. That is the first red flag. That app may be named anything, right?
Right. And it's very important that these apps are not necessarily like a Google Pay or equivalent, right? It's not necessarily that. Sometimes when people want to, do not want to pay Netflix subscription, Amazon subscription, they're downloading a particular application which is not a part of the Play Store, and you have to disable this, and then or you remember there used to be torrent. I mean, it's still very much there, but it's like that, but an app, but a version where all the episodes, all the series
Pirated
are aggregated,
shows,
aggregated in one single application, and you don't pay for it, right? Which is very scary, because again, you're not really realizing what is it downloading on your app, because you don't want to pay the subscription fee, but you are also causing a lot more harm to the kind of data that's available on your phone, just because.
Sure.